Hello and welcome. Today is Saturday, June 24th, 2017. My name is Derek. Welcome. Let's take a look at more of these alternate cryptocurrency coins from TradingView using this 18 average front weighted every chart logarithmic in scaling. And boy, do you need those within these cryptocurrencies. Lots of big moves, which is what makes this a very fun trading game. Library credits will be the first one. I missed some letters of L&M, so let's go through those and then keeping on going in order of chronological order. This will be the third of four parts for today. And within such interesting ascending triangle with this resistance level tested twice, and then just a lot of these nice highs coming into play. At some point, there's going to have to be a decent sized correction. If we shorten this out to the 1 hour time, or the 4 hour time frame rather, we can see what looks like a head and shoulders pattern, or in that same area, just this kind of stuff in here. But it could also set up the situation where, well, here's this resistance level. So the failed breakout, that's possible. But as far as any breakdown, and we have a major or key support at a couple levels, one the current level, and then again in here. But as far as some key Fibonacci situations, 380 is the rough high and the low of about 72 from the late May lows, which gives key numbers in at 200 and 136. So therefore, expect somewhere around here to be key number, and then 136 somewhere in here as that next one. And as far as even the 76 for 257, which quite frankly was that low in here. So these numbers have worked really well in the past, albeit though this number was set before the high. However, short term, don't be surprised if it takes like a move, or maybe it comes down here to something like that. And that's on the if scenario. It's going to roll over, only on that if situation. Let's get off of library credits and move on. LISK, LSK, and that's the daily time frame. Bull flag, but sideways consolidation from this point, and the 18 average band, which is starting to flatten out. It's been correcting for quite some time in here, so correctionary phase in play. When this thing's ready to go, like every single one of these cryptos, notice every single move. Here, beautiful move. Here, a decent move. Here, beautiful move. Here, beautiful move. The pattern is the same. And recognition is usually leaving a rising 18 band. Here, on the first one, it rose from a flat. Here, there was opportunities where it was grinding its way from an 18 band. Here, it had a huge move from a barely new rising band. And here, there was decent indicators to go long again. Will this be the case again? You're looking for momentum away from this 18 average band. And if you just believe this, then you can put the long play in. But on the L situation, let's take a look at some Fibonacci retracement. And I'm going to calculate a high approximately around 16. And let's just try to estimate this low, which that's a 0016. This is a 0001. Even closer to the 75. So that would be, wow, that's a pretty darn near big move now, isn't it? That's 001, 0001. Wow, okay then. Key Fibonacci 497, 241, which would be roughly here, and then again around here. So any big moves, this, well, let me just take a look at this again. That's not correct. I can say that. Let me just look at this again. I don't want to make this too long. 16 is correct. 00116 quad 47. Yeah, that should be right then. 500 and 241. Let me just. No, this can't be right though. It's like. Let me just put the real numbers in now. Sorry for this longer delay. We got what, 6 digits above? Yeah, so yeah, that's what the numbers are. 497 to 41. Anyway, those are the numbers. Let's move on. But again, no, this doesn't make sense because Fibonacci should be somewhere around here. I would be looking more towards 60 to 65 on a pullback. If there's going to be any, let's definitely move on now. Litecoin is the next, and it's had a nice move and several periods of consolidation. Therefore, has it consolidated long enough? Obviously, if there's going to be some price correction, moving into this area here seems to be the story. A lot of times off markets come from where they came from. I just don't like the chances it goes back to 12. I think if there's any retracement, it just seems, just by looking at it, I don't know, around the 13 to the high 13s or 14, it might be where there's any type of short-term correction if it's going to be any type of bounce like this kind of deal. Let's change the time frame, showing the correctionary move from the last one, and this sideways action productive. But as far as where it came from, like I stated, I think this would be a deep pullback. However, it did come from here, so yeah, you know what? Maybe high 1.3s, 14 is an area where if this thing breaks down, maybe around 135. It could end up finding a bottom area. But like a lot of these markets, when it's done with its consolidation pattern, watch out. Let's move this on to the weekly because this might get you a little more bullish. And here we are with this beautiful up move after this horrendous double downtrend. And then we have, of course, big up move, big up move. I mean, this is wild swings, which is projected to be occurring within the WebBot reports as well. We've had some extreme volume lately. A lot of that was Coinbase adding it to its venture. However, after making this huge move, a nice sharp price rally down to this 18 average, huge, a green candle breaking it. So it's leaving the band after a correction. Okay. You know, I sure as heck would rather be bullish here at 166 than I would have been here at 166 because I know its upside potential can be definitely up towards this area in here. And who knows if it could even beat it. Like, look at the size of these moves. Going from about 003 to single 02 and change. That's like an 8x gain. So there's some sick moves. And an 8x gain from this low of single 01 is single 08. And this is single 04. Therefore, there could be a huge potential. And they're talking about how people can be like so rich, lose so much. Well, that might be a situation where maybe this does go up to like 60, 70ish and then falls back to maybe in here. And how many people going long when it's already up so high? Shit, I'm down 75, 80%. Why did I buy at that number? Well, I would rather be buying on the break in here to go higher and then be selling to those people that shouldn't be buying when the price is that high. Let's move on. MaidSafe is next and very choppy to say the least. And on this daily time frame, you know what? It's extremely choppy. I'm just going to move this time frame on to the weekly. And within such, it's after the massive move last year at the start of the year, which seen it go from 2,500 Satoshi up to over 28,000 Satoshi, better than a 10x gain. It really has spent the last better part of a year and a half going sideways. And it's established a big resistance roughly here around the 24,000 Satoshi mark. A very choppy up and down moving play, but does it have the potential to break out? A lot of times when it's left the band, it's had okay gains, sharp moves back. This in here with a sharp moves back. And you can just even see with these lines, if you play a choppy market like my traditional or the strategy I like, where you just you only buy on the way down via putting sell orders, and then you only use, or buy orders on the way down, excuse me, then sell orders on the way up. That means in a situation like this, say you start it, you buy a whole bunch right now at 20, and then you put your buy orders in. And what I would do, and I'm probably not going to with this, but I could. I do this with many other codes though. Just put your buy orders in everywhere. Let's say you have this in place. I mean, that's a whole bunch. And now you put your sell orders in. Maybe you put one here, you put one here, you put one here, and then you put them on the higher ends as well. When you buy, you place a sell order, and when you sell, if you need more sell orders, you put another one in, but you put a buy order in afterwards. So say, for example, you buy, price action comes up here. Okay, I'm now going to buy back maybe just a few basis points below. But for me, this is the only way I could play a chart like this, because it's extremely choppy and somewhat volatile. And the choppy markets are the ones that thrive with that strategy that I'm talking about. Raydium is next on the weekly time, or daily time frame. Weekly will come next, rather. And that's RADS, at a situation which has been making these higher highs and going above the band, supporting it every time, leaving it a bit, coming back to this area of support. Move this on to the weekly now. And we can see in here that it's had a lot of, even in here, it's been resisting and had a lot of time to congest its gains from this March rally. It spent some time within this 18 average band, and it's leaving it right now. It's leaving it. That's bullish, right? That's bullish for me. And it's leaving, not really past the all-time highs. I don't really know much about when it opens why it does something like that. But with that being stated, all I do need to know is that after it settled down here, rallied up here, had this long consolidation, nice move higher, sideways, now it's breaking out to its next leg, and it probably has decent upward movement, considering it's just barely leaving this band right now. Auger REP on the daily time frame. Sideways, a little choppy from this gain in here. However, all these resistance areas from April, I mean, they pierced a lot above it. I like how it's been holding support here for several days in a row. However, it hasn't really done much to break free, and we can see how huge this resistance area is, from roughly 13 to about 14. And any movements up there would be a big test of such right now, but definitely in a sideways movement. And with a lot of these charts, if you feel it's going to break out, what do a lot of these things do? They go up, they correct in some form, then they have a big move up. So this is correcting in a form, and when it's ready to go up, it's going to go up. And if you just buy them in the correction, you'll have tokens when it's ready to go up, whether it's in an hour or in a month or anything in between. RIC stands for Ryecoin, or Rye. I don't know. It's probably Ryecoin. I don't know. I know Rye is spelled R-Y-E as I know it, at least in that pronunciation. With that being stated, this move, since this break in here, what a beautiful, interesting look in here, how it just kept on grinding its way higher. Then it had a serious move, a serious correction, a lot of these choppy lines as well. So it's not a bad strategy, again, to place buy orders down in here if you have them, sell orders up in here, and then just roll the dice. However, because of its move, there's a lot of risk involved, because if it's going to have any decent correction, then that could cost you. You'll be buying a lot of tokens if you do this. So look at the risk factor. How much, if you're doing a strategy like this, how comfortable are you buying at this level? How comfortable are you buying at this level? And if you are, then it's probably a good strategy. Let's move this on to the weekly. And beautiful, interesting look here, as pretty much where this green line is, but no, really above it here, roughly around the 9-something area. It resisted it last year, a little over a year ago. Tried to here, but ultimately couldn't. And then you got these little moves, how much you want to count on this. This is usually one of those spots where someone just makes a dumb buy order, buys pretty much everything at once, and then loses a lot and probably wonders why. I don't know. But nonetheless, the entire move is like a sideways reaction. And it has been breaking from this high, or at least from the low rather, and here having support within this and pretty much lifting off within this band. And it's tough to call. Is it ready to break through resistance? I think if you see price action in here, it's a tough call, but if it's in here, does it really surprise you to see it make a further move up towards here because of how sick that pattern is? I know myself, I'd rather this correct through time a bit or through price, meet up within this band, and then show me a much more bullish setup to break the key resistance over the 10,000 Satoshi mark. But for now, that's what I'd be looking for. But still going long on here, definitely risky with huge rewards possible. Moving on to recovery rights token, which is in just a tremendous uptrend. You got to go long. I'm kidding. It's down, going sideways. I don't know anything about this fundamentally. Interesting moves. It's almost tempting to get in just because of the fact that you can try to put buy orders in on the lower end of price action and sell orders in the higher end. But obviously, it's been in a downtrend. If you know something good about it, it's obviously cheap, and if it's at some point, it's going to have a rally attempt. Also, insane buy orders. It's worked like, well, 3 times, but in here, you could have got like 3 different days on this. This is on Bitfinex, so I don't trade there, but just something that I look at. If it's going to happen and you stick a buy order in at 1,000, like in here, and the price is going to go back up to 5 or 6, how you doing with the 400 or 500% gain? You can like sell immediately pretty much. This is Sia Coin on the daily chart. There's like no data in here. So this is what I got to work with, but what I have working within me is a situation where it was within this 18 average newly rise, and there's the break of it, big move. There's a lot of these codes that do it. The correctionary phase from that big move. Notice the differential from a little under 600 Satoshi down below like 250. So a gain of like, or a loss of 60% on a correctionary move. When stock markets lose 60%, it's a horrendous crash. When a cryptocurrency does it, it's a correctionary move. And then breaking, of course, this band. From the bottom, you're going from about 300 up to about 750. So there's a 150% move. 750 back down to 475. So, hey, this was only like a 35-40% correction. Nonetheless, so it's moved back into the band. And then it's leaving the band again, has another move higher, back within such. So I'm looking for the same thing again, a leaving of the band. Right now it's moving further within it, lower. And I really don't want to fish for any buying opportunities because I don't know where I would want to do such. Maybe, if anything, here. But other than that, I don't think I would want to search. And within a shorter term time frame, I can see that where the red line is, resistance, almost resistance on May 9th-ish or so, resistance in here, and it's been supporting it. And right now we have this resistance at the 18 average, newly declining, and it's starting to leave the band. So therefore, definitely reason to consider that it's going to go lower. I mean, I really can't short it, but if you have tokens and you want to sell on weakness or you want to sit on fear, to me, I don't think this is a bad time to sell, realizing there's a decent chance you're going to buy back here. If you're wrong, then markets go up, you lose. And then if you're right and it goes down here, then you basically saved yourself from having this loss by selling at around 661 and then buying back at around 580 or so. And that's, of course, on the situation it does it. But definitely looking a little bearish right now on the short term. Steam dollars. I'm not going to go over much because of the, sideways, but sell orders, insane. Yeah, do you have them here? How about buy orders that are insane? Just saying. Moving on to Store J CoinX, SJCX, and its daily time frame with resistance in May becoming support. Another crypto big move, and the big move correcting within the span. Attempt to make a play, not quite, but still holding amongst this area. Will there be further momentum? Very tough one to call just by looking at this. Let's take a look at the weekly to help out a little bit, which is a bullish, choppy actionary move. But in this situation here, resistance levels have acted as support. So after the late 2014 resistance, it spent much of 2016 into 2017 building a new elevator range with the previous floor or resistance being the floor, and now it looks like it might be leaving it. So I wouldn't get too excited about this, because I mean it can end up doing the same thing where now it just does something like this for a while, but I don't want any part of this right now. It's too difficult, too complicated for me to be a part of. Moving on to Stellar, and huge move. I mean, huge. That's just an understatement. This correctionary phase, which at the time was doing so with a rising 18 average, extremely fat band, which means volatility was sick after volatility was less than minimal. So it was an understatement to say it was volatile here, an overstatement to say it wasn't here. Since that point, though, after it tried to continue further in a choppy, consolidated way, it had this huge fall, and since then it's been going sideways. So the band is definitely very weak. Support where it's at now is hugely at a key level. And where are we going to be looking for support if this thing falls down below that key number? I don't know. You tell me. 400? We're at 1400 right now. So the risk on this is massive, to say the least. But I mean, high risk, high reward. As you've seen, the gains go from 350 Satoshi to almost 5,000. Those are massive gains. SYS or SYS coin is next on its daily time frame, and this level twice hit of resistance. Another reminder for insane sell orders here. But with that being said, I like how it's been holding this area, which was resisted in here. So when you see any further breaks above here with the way it's going, maybe price action around 10,600 Satoshi as it's breaking here, 10,700. Maybe there is some good up room, but I'd want to extend this time frame out, because if it looks good, I want to see more. And high risk, high reward, I guess, because wow. I mean, I guess when you're going bullish, path of least resistance is scorching higher. And it's had a move up here, back down. So it's barely went above. So there's definitely a reason where you could have big gains. But there's a lot of risk, because if this thing falls to a decent portion, I've drawn two lines, one at 4,000, one at 5,000, maybe even at 2,400. So these are potential areas if things have an interesting price correction where it would go. But this thing is flipping on elevator switch right now to the upside, however. Overextended, but it could be more. It's very much a high risk, high reward, interesting play. And the final one will be Steem, which has been finding support where it was once a resistance area level, very much the standard bull flag or sideways correction from its last move. Really no price correction, just sideways thus far. Just quickly looking, you would think somewhere in here if it does break down. And like almost all of these, when it's ready to break higher, leave the 18 average and an uptrend like all the other previous times and all the other previous codes. Decent up move, decent up move, decent up move. Meh. Yeah, meh. Okay, meh means breaking like what, 15 going up to like 24. a gain of like 60%. Meh. And really, that's true in this game. That's like a nothing of a move, where stock traders are glorified to get that kind of move in 3 days. And let's put the final time frame in, which is the weekly time frame, and it was just a dead chart as far as I was concerned before, making its way all the way down towards this level. And since this bottom, a huge move. There's a nice consolidation pattern. Move up to this point, back to this band, and quite frankly, it's now just breaking it in here. So there's definitely a lot of bullish momentum where you got to think, I mean, this area, to me, this looks reasonable that it can make it towards here. I like how the pattern is lifting off. So definitely something I think which is worth keeping your eye on as it moves forward. I would like to thank you for tuning in to the third of 4 parts, and I'll finish it up within T through Z on the final one. Take care.